Have a nice day.
Kathy Lujan and Juan Gonzalez are nothing alike.
She wasn't into drinking, she wasn't into drugs, she wasn't into partying.
Juan was, yes, complete opposite. He loved to drink, party.
Girls just left the bad boys. You know, they just get drawn to that.
But opposites don't just attract.
She believed he had promise.
Sometimes they combust.
Well, I can't count on you to make me happy.
It's not my job to make you happy.
Can't keep any job.
He was used to being able to get what he wanted.
You know what? You're a bitch.
She was pissed. That was her final straw.
It seemed like her, but it just gotten weirder and weirder for me, you know?
Love may be blind and marriage bliss, but divorce is murder. Halfway between El Paso and Fort Worth lies Midland, Texas, a booming oil town with a population of just over 100,000 people. A place where Kathy Lujan hopes her dreams can come true.
What are we doing here, Dad? She just wanted stability. She just wanted to have the white picket fence, married.
Well, bank gave me the keys early. It's all yours, son.
Thank you, Dad.
And with her father's help, this young divorcee's life begins to turn around.
Her dad helped her to purchase a home, beautiful home.
She said, Daddy's little girl. Daddy will always protect her and take care of her. Whatever she needs, he will make sure it is provided for her.
Kathy's father may have her back, but she's ready to strike out on her own.
Kathy was well known as the cookie lady.
These are freshly baked.
She always wanted to be a boss, a manager. She had great ambitions and goals and just wanted to be the best she could be.
Have a nice day.
Raising a kid by herself is a challenge. But when an old flame crosses her path, she remembers what single life is all about.
Kathy?
Wow,
What's up? Shit. It's been a minute.
It's been 5 years, to be precise.
Back in the 90s, there was a thriving rap singing here in Midland.
Appreciate you showing up, bro.
Juan was making a name for himself. He was a rapper, so he knows how to approach people, how to talk to people.
Sheesh. What's up? See me throw it down in there?
It's a great show.
Oh, word? You mean that?
For real.
Well, because of that, you should take one of my CDs.
Thank you.
I can see Kathy being attracted to someone who's very confident, who puts himself out there.
Those hurt a lot.
You know, if I got you looking at them, I guess it's worth the pain.
Juan's nothing like Kathy.
She came from a good background. Her brother was a police officer, so, I mean, it was stable.
Juan was complete opposite. He loved to drink, party.
That's so beautiful.
Kinda gangster guy, just a little rough at the edge.
They date for 2 years.
I just can't do it anymore.
What? What are you talking about right now?
The late nights, the drinking, the partying,
Yeah.
drugs.
Come on now. You know, it's all part of the game. I'm not out here just doing that.
It's not part of me. I'm sorry. I just can't do it.
You're being for real right now.
I'm sorry.
Babe, yo. For real?
All she wanted to do was to make a good living and have a good life and, you know, the little family with the dog and take a walk, things, trips and things like that.
Flash forward 5 years.
Full court press, coming for your neck. The free throw, I'd rather get a 10. Why would I play if I could be the ref? So what do you think?
It's great. I love it.
For real?
For real.
Oh, thank you. You know, I've been trying to send out a bunch of demos to producers, just trying to catch the right one to really believe in me, you know. You believe in me, right? You believe in us?
Kathy believed in Juan. She believed he had promise.
You know, things could be different this time. You know, I'm clean. I'm working. You know, most importantly, I'm ready.
And I do believe in you.
No, hey, I got it, don't worry. It's all good. Relax for a change.
What's up, little man? Oh, we got a diaper situation on our hands. Don't worry, champ. I got you.
She wanted Matthew to have a dad and wanted Matthew to have a normal family.
Oh, man. You got an amazing kid. Most importantly, he's so lucky.
Kathy didn't want to be dating around. She wanted to find that one and just settle. She wasn't a serial dater. She really wanted to find somebody that she could spend the rest of her life with.
Psychotherapist Stacy Kaiser and forensic psychologist Brian Russell are uncertain about this rekindled romance.
There are a couple of reasons that typically people will go back to an old love. The first is that the love hasn't gone away. But oftentimes there's also a second reason, which is you do develop a comfort with a person when you've been with them. And that sometimes is easier than taking a risk of being with someone else. And I think that that's what's going on here with Kathy.
She's kind of giving Juan a second look, and she's probably hopeful that he's kind of cleaned up his act to the point where she can have the things she liked about him before without the things that concerned her. And sometimes that optimism causes people to kind of overestimate the extent to which somebody's changed.
It doesn't take long for Juan to move right in.
I said, hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama gonna buy you a mockingbird.
He treated Matthew like he was his. He really did. I think he didn't even want Matthew to know that he wasn't his dad.
Mama gonna buy you a mockingbird.
Gonna buy you what?
A mockingbird. Mama gonna buy you a mockingbird.
Oh, I could just stay here and feed that cute little face all day.
I know, but Mama got to bring home the bacon.
And the baby food.
I know.
So Juan ended up becoming a de facto daycare.
It's a good arrangement.
I think they were in a good spot as far as their relationship, so she wanted to have a child with him at that time.
And eventually, they do. In March 2011, they have a son.
Juan loved that baby. He was so proud of that baby.
So what do you think about Luis?
Oh, he was happy. He was ecstatic.
They're the perfect family.
Oh, yes. Got your favorites here.
Until something gets in the way.
Oh, wait, let me fix your chair.
Chronic back pain makes it almost impossible for Juan to work as a cook.
So he would have to stand on his feet all the time, and it would really aggravate his back.
But that's the least of his problems.
I think he was dealing with it with narcotics.
I'm coming right now.
You know, I guess he was kind of hiding it.
Smells great.
But hiding secrets can only last so long.
Yo!
Wow, you're pathetic.
Kathy decided that there's more to life than Juan.
I think it kind of scared him.
Sweethearts Kathy Lujan and Juan Gonzalez have been together for 13 years. And though Juan's past is troubled, he's cleaned up for his new family. Or so it seems.
Okay, what's next?
If you can... Hey, stay out of that.
Ooh, that's sweet.
Kathy was already working for American Cookie. She did get him a job there.
Can you just fix these so they look nice? please. I'm gonna get some more trays.
Yep.
He would come help her, or he'd come in for a few hours every day to come help her, you know, just to get extra money.
Extra money to feed his new addiction, with disastrous consequences.
While they're working together, money goes missing. And the owner of the cookie company immediately is asking Kathy what happened to it.
We were just going through like a really hard time, and I thought I'd be able to pay you back before anyone noticed it. I swear I'll make it right.
And it isn't small change.
Kathy told the owner that she stole the $30,000 and that she would pay it back.
Dad, can we talk?
And then Kathy told her father.
I'm in a bit of trouble. I need your help.
And of course, her father's going to do whatever he needs to do to take care of his daughter, and he actually took out a loan to pay the money back to the cookie store.
It does not seem in character for Kathy to have taken the money because she seems to be a hard worker and the good girl and the person who tries to do everything the right way. Now, the question is, why would she cover for Juan? I think she doesn't want to upset the apple cart. I think she's hoping to keep him on track. She's viewing it as sort of a mistake, and she's going to try and cover and deal with it on his behalf.
She probably is trying to wrap her mind around Juan still being a good person despite the fact that he did something so deceitful, so disrespectful. Maybe Kathy was thinking that there are some things about having Juan in her life and her kids' lives that are good things, and she's not sure if she could get those things again if Juan were to go away, and so she's kind of worried about what her life would be like absent Juan.
At the same time that Kathy is covering for Juan, there has to be something going on inside of her mind. Why would he take a risk and do something like that at a place that she's gotten him a job at and she has a long-term relationship with? And I have to believe that there is something brewing inside of her that will ultimately manifest itself in some type of anger.
Really?
Yo, are you serious?
Are you kidding me? 30 grand in checks?
Please. You've been working there for years. They basically owe you that.
Oh, and that money went to me? Do you see it around here?
Yo!
Wow! You're pathetic.
It's a turning point for Kathy. She quits her job and gets a new one at a grocery store.
Kathy decided that she wanted to better herself, and she decided to work for H-E-B because they had better opportunities for her to move up.
She was very, very proud when they made her a manager.
Kathy, at that point, was able to put herself out there and realize that there's more to life than Juan.
Much, much more.
Well, those look hot.
Actually, they're cool now.
I wasn't talking about the pastries. Boss lady.
But what does Juan think about the new Kathy?
I think it kind of scared him.
Hey.
I really do.
Where you been? Hello? I'm talking to you.
I think he worried that someone else would be attracted to her.
So it's like that.
Someone else would take her away from him.
What is wrong with you? Ever since you started this management BS and this weight loss, what, you think you're someone special?
Well, I can't count on you to make me happy.
It's not my job to make you
can't
happy.
keep any job.
Okay, good, good. Remember that.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You go. That's your go-to solution.
What's yours, being a bitch?
You know what? We're done.
Good.
She had told Juan that they were done, But however, he could still remain in the house. She couldn't bear throwing Juan out on the streets because if she threw him out, he had nowhere to go.
It really looks to me like Kathy reached the point where she felt like she had outgrown Juan, that he was more of a burden than a partner or somebody that she was enjoying being around.
I think what we're seeing here is Kathy sort of coming full circle. When she first met Juan, she was discerning enough to say, not the right person for me. And so here she is discerning again and realizing, yeah, she was right the first time. He's not a fit for her.
I'm concerned at this point that Juan is looking at Kathy and seeing that she's sort of had this makeover and she's happier now. And if I'm him, I'm gonna be angry. And so I believe that he's gonna wanna retaliate because she's hurt him.
Kathy's transformation leads to something else.
Kathy puts herself out on social media. She had never had an account. She starts to reconnect with some of her friends.
Kathy and Roberto were high school sweethearts. They've known each other for most of their life.
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? I can't believe I'm messaging you.
And soon, their old flame is lit.
They talked, and Kathy would tell Roberto stuff that was going on in her life.
Yeah, I have two now.
How she was having difficulties with Juan, and he would comfort her.
And Kathy realizes she has feelings for him.
And those feelings are about to explode.
And she just called me just hysterical.
While Kathy Lujan's home life with Juan Gonzalez is falling apart, she embarks on a new relationship with an old flame.
Well, hi, a guy I haven't seen in a lifetime.
Hi yourself.
Come in.
He lived in San Antonio. She had told me that she had went down there for a meeting and that he had came to her room.
It feels like we're teenagers.
I know, it's like high school all over again.
They started to make a plan, a life plan. And this life plan included moving to San Antonio with the kids, Roberto leaving his wife.
Juan's suspicions are raised.
You've got to be kidding me.
Her dad had left the money for her to pay Luis's daycare, and he stole it.
This is not happening.
She just called me just hysterical. Like, she could not believe.
Juan took the money. $180. I mean, who takes the money for their own kids' daycare?
That was her final straw. She's like, I'm so done. Like, she was livid.
Kathy was finally going to confront Juan about stealing the money. And she was going to tell him about Roberto. He can have the house, he can stay there, but she and the kids are going to San Antonio with Roberto. Kathy went silent, and that silence caused fear amongst her friends.
Thursday, I was like, why did Kathy call me? You know, I just didn't think anything of it. She's busy, she'll call me back. She never called me back. So Friday, I'm like, what? Okay, what the heck?
I know that Luis was gonna be graduating for his little kindergarten class, and she was very ecstatic to be attending, and she never showed up.
She doesn't show up for work either.
She never missed work, ever.
So Kathy's father goes on a mission.
He went over to her house and knocked on the door, and Juan answered.
She hasn't been here. She probably took off with one of the guys she's sleeping with now.
Juan told him that his daughter was admitted to having an affair.
It's been 2 days. It's not like her.
If I can make her come back, I would. And you know that.
You need to call the police.
But maybe she's not gone very far.
You want to see it? There.
Roberto contacted the police department to let us know that he was having a relationship with her.
You got a text from her.
Yeah.
When no one hears from Kathy Lujan for 2 days, friends and family start to panic.
For her not to talk to me, her dad, and then her kids, Kathy would never would she just up and leave without her kids, you know?
Facing mounting concerns, Juan finally files an official report.
Juan called the police department to report his wife missing. At that point, they contacted me because I was the on-call detective.
Tell me when and where you last saw her.
Well, we had a fight, and she told me she had an affair. She just left. But no one heard anything since. That was Wednesday.
Wednesday. Can you give me the contact information for some of her friends or family? Paul?
There's only a Padgett family that I know in Midland. And I immediately knew then that Kathy had to be Paul's sister.
Hey, Mitch.
Paul and I worked at one point together at the Midland Police Department. You know, he's my brother in blue. It just really hit hard when I saw it.
Detective Rodriguez immediately goes to see Juan.
You know, something was off, and I could feel it. So I confronted her. Look, I know something's going on.
I'm just working. Maybe you forget what that is.
Okay, then let me see your phone.
Right? You don't get to police me.
He believed that she was having an affair. At some, like 30 minutes later, Kathy exits the bedroom.
You want to see it?
Yeah.
There.
And hands him her phone.
Happy now?
She admits the affair.
And then at this point, he left.
Kathy?
And when he returned home, she was no longer there, and he believed that she had left with one of the two guys that she was having an affair with.
I mean, look, I've been trying to get a hold of her.
He had shown me his phone text messages and phone calls where he had tried to reach her. But I'm looking at his demeanor. You see some emotion. And I could see that he didn't have any scratches, no defense marks, nothing where he was attacked, nothing like that.
I'll have to go through your house. That's okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
I noticed there were some suitcases. And then that's what drew me the question, like, did she not take anything with her? And then I see a plastic bag. And it has her bank cards, her credit card, has her debit cards, credit cards, checkbook, and her driver's license.
Everything but her cell phone. Intrigued, Detective Rodriguez continues the search outside.
This is your vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
That one's hers?
Yes, ma'am. That's hers.
She left without it.
Yeah, I assumed one of her boyfriends just came and picked her up.
They check Juan's car for blood.
It gets sprayed, and as it's getting sprayed, you saw it light up, and my heart just dropped.
But Rodriguez is well aware that it's not just blood that causes luminol to light up.
We still have to get it tested just to make sure it's not a cleaning agent or anything else that could, like copper, anything copper related that would indicate that it could be something else.
Normally, the process takes up to 6 months, but Detective Rodriguez had asked for a rush.
As she waits for the results, Rodriguez still has no hard evidence. But what she does have is 3 persons of interest: Juan Gonzalez, Peter, the man Kathy flirted with at work, and Roberto.
At this point, I think there's every reason to be concerned that foul play is involved.
I don't see anything in Kathy's history that would lead me to believe that she would just run away. She has tried to still be nice to Juan in terms of the house and letting him stay there, and she seems to be a very doting mother. And frankly, knowing Kathy, I would think that she would have taken them with her.
If you look at these investigations as sort of concentric circles where you've got the missing person at the center, and then you look first at the circle of people who are closest to the person. You look at Juan, and there's not anything that jumps out. So you have to continue looking and progressing out and going, okay, well, who's the next closest person or couple of people? And I think at this point, in addition to Juan, Peter and Roberto need to be looked at and ruled out as well.
It was all over Crime Stoppers. It had hit the media, hit the billboards.
Detective Rodriguez.
Roberto contacted the police department to let us know that he was having a relationship with her.
When did the relationship start?
A month ago. We haven't done anything, though. We've kissed a few times.
Last time I talked to her was that Wednesday. I don't know. I mean, after she had sent me a text around 6:30, and it seemed like her, but it just gotten weirder and weirder for me, you know.
You got a text from her.
Yeah, but it wasn't her. She was using different phrases.
Roberto is texting with Kathy and getting these responses back that are provocative, dirty.
And it just threw me for surprise because, like, we're sleeping with me. I said, he ain't been sleeping with me. And then I just got a text like, you know what I mean? And that part, yeah, I mean, that part was, I mean, she knew what we'd done, what we haven't done.
So y'all have never had sex?
No.
And so Roberto, in reading this, knows that the person he's texting with is not Kathy.
And he's able to prove it.
We had this song that we had some years ago, and we were talking about it a couple weeks ago. And once I started getting fish, I kept asking what the name of the song was, and he didn't never give it to me.
So at that point you knew?
Yeah, I knew it wasn't her.
After that, all communication ceased.
While Roberto's story is compelling, it's still just a story.
It could still be Roberto just trying to, mislead us.
Next, the investigation turns to Peter, Kathy's friend from work.
I'm going to ask you something really personal, and I need you to be really honest with me, okay? What's the relationship between you and Kathy?
Well, before she became a manager, because she was just doing the program, we did from 4 around. Okay. But it was like she was in management now, so it was like, hey, you're going to lose everything. If they find out, you're going to lose everything. Okay. That's why when they asked me, I was like, no. I mean, because if she pops up, I don't want her to lose her job.
Each man is a suspect, and it's only a matter of time before one of them cracks.
We were able to confirm through phone records that Roberto was actually at work.
Next up, Peter.
We were able to confirm that Kathy and Peter had really not had much communication. It had kind of fallen off. As well, that Peter was nowhere near Kathy's house at the time that the phones actually kind of went silent. So Detective Rodriguez goes ahead and gets an order to be able to look at where is Kathy's phone pinging off of? Where's the tower location? We're able to look at Kathy's phone and Juan's phone and realizing that they are pinging off of the same tower at the same time.
It's not a smoking gun, but it's certainly suspicious.
She knew that there was something not right.
But what?
If we don't have a body and we want to do a murder case, what do we need to do?
We had no proof of life.
It's been 2 weeks since anyone has seen Kathy Lujan, and with all other suspects cleared, her partner Juan Gonzalez is the primary suspect. But without a body or a DNA match for the blood in the SUV, police aren't ready to make an arrest. And while the search continues, there's little hope that Kathy is still alive.
After compiling all the information and reviewing everything, I pretty much knew that she was dead. The dad was not wanting to accept it, but I think deep down he knew. I contacted the district attorney, so she had done some research in regards to if we don't have a body and we want to do a murder case, what do we need to do? So we have what is called a proof of life. Has she been pulled over by any law enforcement? And we have to check, did she ever get a new driver's license?
We had no proof of life.
Police turn back to Juan.
We were able to bring him up to the police department. Voluntarily, he came and talked to us, and we put everything out.
You said you got a bunch of texts from Kathy saying she was fine, she just wanted to be left alone.
Nothing happened, Rosie. Nothing happened. I didn't do anything to her.
I think you did. And I'm trying to figure out, was it an accident or did you purposely plan all this out to kill her?
Nope. I didn't make no plans to hurt her.
Well, everything else is showing that you did. And that blood that's going to be in the vehicle is going to be her blood.
Okay, so what do you want me to do?
Tell me where you took her.
I don't know. I didn't take her anywhere, Rosie. Also, I'm done talking to you.
Have your way.
There's another detective that knew him from his prior history. He had done surveillance and had done some investigation with him, so they have this report already.
I know you, Juan. We know you have her cell phone. And that's really not helping you right now.
Look, fine. I have her cell phone. There's a good reason, okay? I just want to know who she was with. If I call and someone say, hey, you know what, Kathy's here, fine. I know she's safe, okay? She gave it to me. I was waiting for her to come back, then I would give her her phone back. That's it. I don't know.
Based on having the knowledge that we had at the time, Juan was allowed to go back home.
It's a strange story, but not enough to keep Juan at the station. Then, the same day that he's interrogated, Juan Gonzalez is arrested. Not for murder, but for using Kathy's credit card without her knowledge.
Juan was trying to leave town, so we made a decision to go ahead and arrest him.
The arrest is part of a larger strategy.
So we were just kind of hoping that being inside a cell would be enough to kind of tip him over the edge to tell us where Kathy was. Because at that point in time, that's all we wanted. We had no proof of life. We were just waiting on the DNA to get the DNA match. Once we had the match, we didn't need a body. We just wanted to know where she was.
Finally, they get the break they've been waiting for.
The results come back saying it's Kathy's blood, so we knew she was dead. And with the blood, the DA said we can go forward with a case to file murder on him without a body.
What if I told you we're ready to arrest you for murder right now?
Can't just do that. Like, you don't even have a body.
Well, we just found out the blood in the SUV is Kathy's. That's enough.
They have her blood, and there's a problem with the phone. It's called circumstantial evidence. It's like me watching you do it.
It's at that moment that you physically see it on Juan. His body language said it all, that he knew exactly where her body was. Now we just had to get him to tell us. The tactic was, let's give him an out.
Look, Juan, we know there's more to that story. Maybe it's not as bad as it looks.
So I started throwing different ideas at him.
Maybe something happened. Maybe she did it to herself.
And one of the ideas was the suicide.
Juan took the bait, hook, line, and sinker.
All I know is I left the house that day and I got home and she was laying on the kitchen. She was laying down face first. I turned her over and she had a cut right here. And that's how I found her.
Kathy! Kathy? Kathy? Kathy! 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 Kathy?
I panicked because I'm on federal paper and my record, and
it's understandable.
And the kids, I wrapped her up in some blankets and I put her in the truck. It took me a while because of my back and my leg. And the whole time I was just mad, like, what did you do? What did you do? And
He's telling this very emotional story about the only thing he could think to do was wrap her up and dump her out.
Where is she? For Luis. For Matthew.
We had talked to him about, the kids need closure, the family needs closure. Let's, bring Kathy back home.
An autopsy is performed.
The sternum was fractured and ribs fractured.
Unlikely injuries for what Juan claimed was an intentional overdose.
She still had muscle and some tissues on her leg, so that was used to test for toxicology, and there was nothing in her system that indicated that she committed suicide.
The autopsy bolsters the police theory of what happened that night.
I just can't keep talking to you. There's nothing left to say. We're done.
Kathy was done with him. Juan was going to be out on the streets. He had nowhere to go. His security line was cut.
Question, don't turn your back on me!
Nothing to say. Leave me alone.
I said don't turn!
Get off me!
and he put his hands around her neck to sit on top of her, squishing in. So as he's looking at the face of the mother of his children and looking at the face of the person he supposedly loves, he squeezes the life out of her.
"42 days after she went missing, Juan Gonzalez is charged with the murder of Kathy Lujan.
Juan seems to me like the kind of guy who feels that he can take what he wants from others, he could treat people how he wants, and become extremely upset, extremely indignant the moment he feels that somebody is trying to do that very same kind of stuff to him. And so here we have Kathy, in his eyes, betraying him, even though what she's doing is nowhere close to the sum total of what he's done to her over the years. And yet, it looks to me like he felt justified in administering the death penalty.
By no means in any way do I think Kathy is responsible for her death, nor do I think she deserved it. However, if you look back at the course of the relationship between Juan and Kathy, what you see is that she accepts him and enables him and allows him to act in any way he wants. And the minute she puts her foot down, the minute she decides she deserves self-respect, he snaps. And I believe it's because Juan couldn't handle being told no. Juan couldn't handle having the responsibility placed in his lap that he had done something wrong, and so he had to go and kill Kathy, the person who made him accountable for what he had done all along.
Juan Gonzalez pleads guilty and is sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Kathy Lujan.
I feel that's so unfair because he gets to wake up every day. He gets to eat a meal every day. He gets to breathe every day.
He's an evil person. He knew that she loved them boys and he took her. All because she was becoming stronger.